everyone, my name is Rob Phelan. I am here with Savannah, who's going to tell us about her Christmas ornament business that is a little bit special because it was a nonprofit business. It was there to support a bunch of different charities and organizations that we're going to dig into during this conversation. But I want to bring this to you because it is a really awesome story. And Savannah, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about it today. How are you doing?
I'm good.
This was a really cool, idea that came forward. I thought it was a business at first, and then I heard, no, it's actually a nonprofit. And I thought, wow, even better. So tell me a little bit about you. Who are you?
I'm Savannah McReynolds. I'm 18 years old. I'm a senior in high school, and I love art, and I have a 3D printer. That's one of the things I like to do too.
Very cool. So what is the business, or what is this nonprofit that you were running? Tell me a bit about that.
Well, I've been making Christmas ornaments from trees that actually fell during Hurricane Laura. So my uncle cut them up, and then I've been painting Christmas ornaments on them and selling them.
Okay, so Hurricane Laura was when?
It hit on August 27th, and it was a category 4, and there's 5 categories, and 5's the worst, so 4 is pretty bad. It was very devastating. And then 6 weeks later, there was another hurricane, Hurricane Delta, and that was the 4th storm to hit this year. Like this year, we had a really long hurricane season.
So then you had this ornament making business, this idea came up. You said you wanted to use wood from the fallen trees during the storm. And it wasn't just a business for you. You turned it into a nonprofit. You said you were going to support charities. Why did you go that route instead of just saying, you know what, this is a great business idea, I'm going to do that?
Well, a lot of people needed the money. They needed, I know one family we gave it to, they were able to buy Christmas gifts for their kids, and they couldn't buy that because of all the damages. They couldn't spend money on gifts. They had to spend it more on fixing their homes and things like that.
Okay, so you didn't just say I gave it to the American Red Cross or any of these other big organizations. You were able to handpick some of the people or charities that you wanted to support?
Yes, we gave it to one family with 3 children for Christmas gifts, and then there's a single mom who lost her job from the hurricane, she couldn't work for 8 weeks, so we gave it to them too. And we raised $1,400.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. All through ornaments?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to see it. Show me some examples of these ornaments. What are we talking about here?
Well, I made one for the Choose Up cast, the little logo.
Love that.
And then I made a Go Tigers LSU one.
Excellent.
And a nativity scene.
I love that style, that unbroken line style of art for sure.
This is a Saints orderly. And then I did a bunch of custom ones, which were fun.
So what were people typically asking for? If they wanted a custom one?
Some people wanted their names in these wreaths that I made, their last names.
Okay, yeah.
Which was, I don't know, it's a bunch.
So the thing I'm kind of building up to here is when you start doing custom orders of things, it becomes very time intensive because you can't just produce 100 of these at once. So did you find that you were spending a lot of time creating these ornaments, or did you come up with a system for making it faster for yourself?
No, I never really found a way to make it super fast because I'm just doing it through Instagram and Facebook. People would say I want this, I want that. So I would just keep trying and just kind of make one person's at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if I could find a way to streamline it, maybe that might be if I had to do it again, I would find a way to streamline it, do it faster, just because I like making them personally, but it does take time to do. Let me do one whole set and not 5 LSUs at once,
Okay, so let's dig into this a little bit. What's the process for making the ornament? So from start to finish, so tree falls down in the woods somewhere to it ends up an ornament on someone's tree. What happens?
My uncle would cut them up with a chainsaw, would cut the limb off, and then with a handsaw, cut them into these little slices, and then I would paint them. This is a blank one. So they're little slices, and then I would paint them. And some are a lot easier than others. I would just Sharpie on them. This Louisiana one is all Sharpie, but this LSU new one is a little more intensive because I have to do one coat of paint and then another coat and then Sharpie. And then if I painted it, I spray it with like a clear coat so that it's shiny. And then I would package them and send them to people. Or I would hand deliver them if they live close.
Okay, and did you have a bunch made that you tried to sell, or did you only make an ornament if an order came in?
I only made, I sold like 8 different kinds, I think, or 9. And so if you ordered one, I would make another one.
Okay. So yeah, that was something I wanted to ask about as well, were you creating a bunch of these and then having to try and sell them, or were you waiting until you got an order to go ahead and make it? Difference being, of course, that you have to put a lot of your own time, effort, and money into it if you're going to produce a bunch and then try and sell them, versus if someone makes an order, you've already sold it. You know the money's going to be there. How much did it cost you on your side to make these?
Probably like $50 for supplies. Like, I think that's how much we saved because we had to get like spray coat. Like a bunch of my Sharpies ran out. They got dry because I was using them. And then I had to get more paint, and we had to buy I put them in treat bags if I was giving them out, and then shipping mailers, those things, those mailers.
Okay, so, and then I guess there was a lot of free will along the way. So branches getting cut up, put into slices, holes drilled in them. Like that was all just stuff that you were able to use your network, we're going to say, to get for free. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were going to put the money in your own pocket instead of giving it away to others, do you think you would have still had all of the free stuff along the way? So like the free help with cutting up the wood and getting it prepared?
I think so, because my uncle cut them up.
So it's an important thing because when I give advice to younger people starting businesses, I tell them, look in your network. Who do you know that can help you and is willing to give you that help for free or in exchange for something that's not money? And that's a great way to get your business up and running for free. So you using the people around you to help you out was a great example I want to highlight. So, awesome stuff there, especially like also the wood that you're using is reclaimed from something that fell that had no, I guess, value anymore to anyone around. So it was great that you were repurposing stuff like this for a profitable item that you could then give the money to somebody who actually needed it. I love that about your business. Okay, so you charged how much for these ornaments?
I charged $8.
Okay, and did that include shipping?
No, it was, if you shipped it, it was more.
All right, how did you come up with 8?
I don't know if that's a good price, but I think I did, I don't know. I thought 8 because $10, we were looking on Etsy, and like that's how we got the idea, like Pinterest and Etsy, like my aunt wanted me to paint some for her, and they were selling them for like $15. I was like, that's a lot. So I was like, I think if we do $8, people will want them because they're like a good gift and they're not expensive.
Okay, so there's a little bit of research that went into this, and I kind of like that because sometimes I just hear that business owners pull a number out of the sky, like $8. It's going to be 8, and there's no reason behind why they picked 8. So let's dig into that for a second and see if 8 was a good price because you weren't sure. So you saw some of your competitors on Etsy or Pinterest were charging around 15. So there's probably a reason why they picked 15, but let's figure out for your side. You said you spent about, what, $50 in materials?
Yeah.
How many ornaments did you produce?
I think like 120 maybe.
Okay, so at even 100 ornaments, that's 50 cents per ornament in cost. So if you're selling it for $8, you technically have $7.50 in profit. So yeah, that's a wonderful profit margin. Okay. What that does not take into account, though, is your time. How long did you spend per ornament?
It depended on the type of ornament because there's some that I don't have to like wait for the paint to dry, and then like some, like the Louisiana ones, I just have to Sharpie on. But like the LSU ones, I have to wait for it to dry, then put another coat, and then wait. Because the spray takes 24 hours, so I have to wait for that to dry completely.
Okay, so let's imagine now, let's cut out the wait time. Let's just talk about the time spent actually working on the ornament. How long did it take you to make, say, that LSU one?
Probably 20 minutes.
Okay, so not crazy.
Yeah.
So if you take as a benchmark, and this is a great example for you all at home, a benchmark for someone your age is probably minimum wage. What's minimum wage for you in Louisiana?
I think it's $7.50.
Is it 7.50?
It's $7.50. Sorry.
So 7.50 an hour of your time working in a fast food joint or somewhere making minimum wage, you can make about $7.50 an hour. So if you're spending 20 minutes on Ornament, that's 1/3 of an hour. So we'll say, the equivalent of that is about $3 an hour. So $3 of cost goes in for your time. So we've got about $3.50 total cost, which means about $4 of profit. So looking at this on the surface, it's a pretty good business, particularly when you get into those faster ones, like the Louisiana outline probably took you what, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, maybe 10 minutes.
So yeah, there are going to be some of your items that will be more profitable than others, even though you're selling them for the same price. And what you try and do then is really market the ones that have a better profit margin for you. So if one item is going to make you more money, that's the one you really want to focus on advertising and trying to sell more of, if it's a business. In your case, you were doing a lot of custom orders. So if this is what the customer wants, great, that's what we're going to try and give them.
Yeah.
So what you also could have tried to do then was say, all right, I can do custom orders, but the general design is going to be something that I can replicate. So I like the wreath one, because you could basically just make a bunch of those wreaths one after another and then just pencil in someone's name.
Yeah.
And that would be a great way to do a custom order. That's not like someone asking you for the moon and you're like, well, I don't know how to do that. So I see that a lot with people who do custom greeting cards, do custom paintings. It's hard to be just commissioned to do anything, because you're like, I've got a set of skills. I've got things that I can do really well. And then if you ask me to do something I don't know how to do like innately already, then I have to go learn how to do it, research it, and that takes more time. So one way to streamline your business is to come up with maybe like 10 different designs and say, I can customize this design for you, either with your name or some custom saying from 2020, if that's what you want to do. I can add in these bits and pieces, and that kind of helps you streamline your process, because you can make a bunch of those and then just add the customization as you go. So what were like the biggest challenges along the way that you found with this business?
I guess juggling, because I was in school and starting this up. So in the beginning, there was a lot of orders. So I was like, and working, getting all the orders done and doing school, and then also like finding a way to like put all my orders where I could easily see them. Like, I don't know how to use a spreadsheet, but I probably should have done that. So it could count up how much I've made, how many ornaments I've made, and what types I need to make. Like an easier way to see it. I think that was a challenge.
Particularly as the number of orders goes up, yeah, it's very easy to lose track of them, because email is wonderful, but it's a thread. And if you forget to respond to it or note it or flag it, then it can get lost very easily. And yeah, you want to be able to see like how much you've made, what orders you have to create still, which ones have been shipped, which ones need to be shipped, where they're going. And then, all that stuff. I think spreadsheets and Excel are a wonderful way to do that, especially for free, because those programs are just freely available. Google Sheets is a really awesome tool, and it doesn't take too long to get to learn how to use it. And if you want to learn how to do something, YouTube is fantastic for learning how to use Excel. All right, so if you were going to try and do it again, what would you do differently about tracking your orders?
I think I would put it into a spreadsheet and maybe put it on like Etsy, a website like that. So where it's kind of, instead of it just being like I have to look through all my Instagram like messages and Facebook messages, because I know we were having trouble with that. Like we almost missed an order because on Facebook you like can comment on each post, and someone commented on a post and we like didn't see it. So that was harder to keep track of. But if it was on like an Etsy website, it'd be like, I think it would be easier maybe.
So Etsy is great because it is a marketplace. So it will let you know when someone makes a purchase. You do lose part of the sale though when you do it on Etsy. So they're going to take part of the sale price as their cut. So it's one of those things that you could upgrade your business with. You can say, all right, I did it, bootstrapped it for pretty much no cost in the beginning. I've made some money, and now I want to maybe lower my profit a little bit, but make life a little bit easier for myself as this business grows. So yeah, I think that's a wonderful thought and piece of advice that you could have. I would question a little bit Etsy, because are people outside Louisiana going to buy these ornaments? Were you finding many sales outside of the state? Or was it very much like this hits the heartstrings of people in Louisiana and they're the ones who want to buy it?
I think it was more Louisiana.
So then Etsy being a national and actually international website, you would almost wonder, is that the best place for this?
Yeah.
So we would look maybe for something else that could be just as effective, or maybe a better system for getting the orders out of Instagram or Facebook or wherever you were posting them, and saying, okay, let's track this better. So that would be a thought I would have, like, all right, Etsy is great, but is it the right spot? Okay. One actual question I just thought of. When it comes to nonprofits, typically we see people either selling something like you are, or they're asking for donations. How do you think it's different? Is it better to have a product to sell, or do you think it's just easier to ask for a donation? What do people want?
I think it was better to have a product because it was like I called it Lagniappe For Laura. That's what I would write on the back of the ornaments. Like, it's something extra. Like, people, like, we were talking about, like, maybe the wood is cracking and, like, we were feeling bad, but then they were like, no, we're getting something extra. We're really donating, but we're just getting something. So I think that was nice. And some people just wanted the ornaments, but they're giving money. They're technically donating, but they're getting something.
I actually 100% agree with you. I think that when it comes to getting people to donate, they do like to get something in return, even if it is some like cheesy trinket or a pen or whatever. Like, they like the idea that they're purchasing something. It's an exchange of value versus like just giving a donation. So I do agree with that 100%, that it's an easier sell to actually have a product to give away. So yeah, absolutely love that. Okay, so let's pivot into you now. You're a senior. Winter is already like well on its way. We're past the holiday season. So like ornaments probably not going to be your biggest seller anymore. Are you going to just shut this down now? Is the job done, or are you going to pivot into something else?
I think I might still try to make ornaments or coasters. Like, I've been working on making like a coaster like this. Like, this could be that customized thing that we were talking about earlier. Like, the heart could go anywhere in Louisiana, but the basic design is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but still, some people still would want like Mardi Gras coasters. That's a big holiday in Louisiana. Like this one, like this Mardi Gras fleur-de-lis.
Mm-hmm.
So I still could sell them as ornaments or coasters, I think. I'm going to have to look into that.
Okay, so, and will this still be a nonprofit? Like, you're going to give away all the proceeds, or do you think you're going to start turning this into something for you?
I think I would do it where I would split the proceeds, maybe give myself some for like my time and also give it to survivors of the hurricane.
I love that. And it is so important for those of you who are running a nonprofit. A nonprofit does not mean that everything like just runs on volunteers. Like, people do get paid in nonprofits. The key is that you pay somebody a fair amount for their time, and then anything above and beyond that, the profits after all costs are accounted for, is what goes into the charitable efforts of whatever that nonprofit is. So yeah, you are totally entitled to take a wage for yourself if you are running a nonprofit business. And it's an important thing to do, because you'll run out of steam very quickly if you're putting your heart and soul into something and it's basically not giving back to you in any way. Mm-hmm. So yes, I think that is a wonderful thought. And even if it's just like 10% of profits are going to always go to a charity or in support of Hurricane Laura victims, displaced families, whatever it is, it's a great idea. And it also helps your business, the kind of the perception that the public has of it. It's going to be like, okay, this business is about more than just Savannah. Like, it's going to be about a bigger cause too. So that's a wonderful selling point that you can always put in your marketing as well. Mm-hmm. So then senior year, it's about to wrap up in a couple of months. What are you going to do then?
Well, I want to go to college and get a degree in engineering.
Sounds cool. And I mean, that 3D printer, it sounds like you have a 3D printing hobby kind of interest going on there. What do you do with a 3D printer? That's like, you listed that as one of your kind of things that's most important about you.
Yeah. Well, I made some templates actually for, let me see if I can show you some. Mm-hmm. I 3D printed some templates, like a fleur-de-lis and a Louisiana, like, and a crawfish. I have this Louisiana that I printed just so I can like outline it, and this crawfish.
Even better. Look at that streamlining. It's like, okay, I've got templates that I can just trace out. Perfect.
And then I actually did, whenever the pandemic started, I was able to print face shields, and we called them ear savers, like where the string of the mask would clip onto this back thing that you put behind your head instead of on your ears, for healthcare workers, so that their ears wouldn't get sore.
Okay. And was that, again, just something that you were giving away, or was that a business?
Oh no, we were just giving that away. I did that with my robotics team at school.
Very cool. All right. So let's wrap this up. If anyone wants to order an ornament from you or they want to ask you questions about your business, where do they go?
On Instagram, my account is SAVANNAH period MCRR. That's my Instagram.
Okay.
And then my mom's Facebook is Patricia Sue McReynolds.
Perfect. And I will get those links and have them in the notes for this video as well. All right. So yeah, maybe that's something that you also need to look at is how do I maybe create just a single page website that I could send people to? Is there a way that we could put an add-on in there that would allow you to just get orders and track them a little bit easier? All things that would be kind of a quick addition that you could probably put in there. I love Google Forms for taking orders as well, because it will just put it all into a spreadsheet for you and it's still free. And you can just embed one of those in a website very easily.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Savannah, thank you so much for sharing your story today. I think that is a wonderful story and a great highlight of how a business can be used for something even bigger than just funding our own lives.
Thank you so much for having me. It's fun.